Blackstone here in the ABC News 4 studio. It is around 3:20 this afternoon. We want to update you on what is going on Edisto Beach right now. It's been 3 days since Tropical Storm Irma brought those high winds and heavy rain to the low country. Now, Governor Henry McMaster, who you see here in this video, is getting a first-hand look at one of the hardest hit areas. Again, Edisto Beach. We are waiting for him to come to the podium there on Edisto to bring us the very latest. He started his tour sometime after the 2 o'clock hour this afternoon. We heard from the mayor there, Jane Darby, throughout the last several days. You may remember they had that series of curfews in place as well and restricted access to the beach. They just now today lifted that access, letting visitors as well as property owners, business owners onto the island. So he just wrapped up that tour on Edisto Beach. We are waiting for him to come to the podium. You can see him. If we can pop up that live shot really quick, he is there with the mayor and other officials as well, his security personnel, as he takes the podium here on Edisto with the mayor. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what they have to say this afternoon.
You're looking right in the sun. They want you in the sun. That's why they got it.
Yeah, we could have set this up another way. Y'all, thank you for coming out. As you can see, there's plenty of life at Edisto Beach. Edisto was hit pretty hard, and there was a lot of wind in a lot of places around the state, just as we predicted. A lot of wind, also way up in the upstate. But here there was a lot of water, and you can still see it around these houses as you go back in towards the mainland. But I think that what you see here is a good example. We didn't have anybody hurt. We had the proper warnings. We had the proper communication from all the officials and all involved. And I think that the people listened pretty well and responded properly. And it was a well-planned and well organized and well executed response to a hurricane and to a storm. And it'll take a little while to fix it, but it can be fixed. As you see, the machines are moving all over the place. They're getting the sand off the road, and the park will be open. Parts of the park will be open back up soon, and we're making some progress. This is a good example of how all the different people, including those who have property here, working together, can respond to a storm, a disaster, a hurricane, and get back on their feet real quick. We've got a great state, and this is an example of it. Edisto Beach is a wonderful, wonderful place. The whole county, the parks, it's all a great place. I've got a number of people here that you might like to talk to. Ms. Hall, Secretary Hall, Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Governor. Our recovery efforts are well underway, as you can see behind me. We estimate that by sundown today, we will have about 50% of the sand removed from the road here on Palmetto Boulevard. Weather permitting, we expect to complete our sand removal operations before the end of the weekend and return the roads back to full service.
Thank
Governor.
You. Where's the mayor? Jane Darby.
I think that when there's a crisis, you can depend on the state of South Carolina. So today and yesterday, we have had every agency here working, from the governor's office, PRT, EMD, different local officials. We've had offers of help from everybody. We've had legislators who have expressed their interest and offered their help. My council members, I cannot praise them enough, because sometimes we may not agree, but when it comes down to a crisis, we join together and nobody's going to defeat us. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Dwayne Parrish, Parks, Recreation, and Tourism.
Thank you, Governor. On the tourism side, we start our Coast is Clear campaign this weekend to try to bring visitors back here as quickly as possible and pick up the reservation traffic. On the state park side here, the beach area, the day use area, the cabins, and the boat ramp will all be open next Friday, the 22nd. The campgrounds we're still assessing will take a little bit longer, maybe a couple of months, but we're still assessing that, and we'll give an update soon on our website, which is southcarolinaparks.com. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
Governor, were you surprised by what you saw here?
No, because I was watching it on television while it was happening. And There's a lot of sand. There was a lot of sand here in Matthew. The drainage systems are full of sand. There's still a lot of water back in the woods and around the houses. It's going to take a little while for it to go away, but it was 3 feet deep out there just a few days ago. So this community is really responding very well.
How does Edisto compare to the other coastal regions along our coast?
This was one that got hit among the hardest. The trees down. As you go, interestingly enough, as you go up the state, up the Savannah River, up towards Oconee and up there, there's more wind damage up there than there was here. And that's because this was an unusual storm. Another thing unusual about this situation was that the hurricane came right up from Florida through parts of Georgia. So we had a lot of our friends from Florida and Georgia coming up on our highways, but again, that was managed so well by the Department of Transportation, Christy Hall, and also the National Guard and the Department of Public Safety and SLED. Everybody was involved, and there were very few obstacles, very few places where the cars weren't moving. Actually, we paced that. We were able to pace the leaving with our evacuations from the coast into the flow that we were seeing come up from Georgia and Florida. And we had a little more congestion with people coming back because we had no control over that, people in Georgia and Florida coming back, but it's still moving very well thanks to the highly coordinated and skilled efforts of our professional people. Yes?
So many communities are dealing with this and worse. How difficult will it be to get help at the federal level for our South Carolina communities when Texas is hurting, Florida's hurting, Georgia's hurting?
Well, we're hurting too. Not as badly as they are, but we've been in contact with the federal authorities. As you know, we got I think it's a record for a presidential declaration of disaster, and because of that, the FEMA and other entities are engaged with us, and the damage assessments are being done now. That'll take a few days and maybe even weeks to assess all the damage, and there's certain thresholds you have to reach in order to qualify for aid. We think that we will qualify for federal funds in a lot of categories, but also the coordinated work being done by the local officials and the people is taking a lot of the pain out of what could have been a lot worse.
Governor, do you think we'll need additional money from the state legislature next year like we did for Matthew, or do you have any idea what that could even look like?
We have not assessed the damage. As I say, that'll take some time.
Secretary Hall, are these costs right now being absorbed for the agency that will just get reimbursed later? Is that how you guys are approaching this right now?
Well, one of the good things about the way that we're coordinating so closely with the town of Edisto Beach is that, as you see behind me and all around the island, we have about 60 DOT employees out here working. So rather than engaging contractors and experiencing delay and increased costs, we're basically utilizing our own resources to come in and do this work in as fast a manner as we possibly can. Our team's excited to be here, and we're glad to be able to do this for the citizens of Edisto Beach.
Secretary Hall, yesterday the estimate was about 4 to 7 days. Now with a day under y'all's belt of cleaning out some of this sand, still on track for that time frame, more or less? What's your thoughts?
As long as the weather holds out like it is today, we expect to be finished by the end of the weekend with our work here.
Any more questions?
Governor, I believe this is the third storm in 3 years. Is there ever a point where you feel that assessing the damage, preparing for the storm, ever becomes business as usual to coastal communities, or do you think it takes the hard work each time to ever,
No, you can never relax because you never know when a storm's coming, and there are a lot of states around the country that don't have to worry about hurricanes. I think they'd love to be able to be here and be on this most beautiful coast in America and have to worry about a hurricane every now and then. I think they'd swap places with us right quick. That's just part of life in South Carolina. But fortunately, we are resilient. Our people are strong. We're highly coordinated. We have good plans and good people, and we can handle it, as it's been demonstrated this time.
looking at this, are you glad you asked this coast to evacuate?
Yes, ma'am, and so are they. But I don't think it took much convincing, frankly. But the water was high and it came in fast. But again, we have, it's difficult to understand the degree of professional observers and studiers and others that are gathering research and watching these storms come. It's quite an operation. It's something like you see in a movie. And so we were very deliberate and with our decision-making process, and people here were involved, people all over the state. And I think among us all, we got it called right. Okay, y'all, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Henry.
Anytime.
And you just heard from the governor of South Carolina speaking to the people of South Carolina, in addition to the people there of Edisto Beach, letting members know that 50% of the sand will be removed from Palmetto Boulevard by the end of today. They hope to have the remainder moved out by the end of this weekend. The governor calling the state of South Carolina resilient.